So we will be recording probably in the next week or two. I will be sending you an email with that link. So if you get kicked off for some reason, or you know somebody else within your agency or another agency who is not able to participate, we will be sending that information out for later viewing. Most of you know me. My name is Samantha Knapp, and I'm currently serving as the Acting Assistant Purchasing Director over the Communication and Technical Services section of the Purchasing Division. So each of you received an invitation to serve as the administrator for your agency's Amazon Business Prime account because you are the primary designated procurement officer for your agency. So today's training is going to discuss your role as the administrator. But once you get your account set up, which many of you have already done, you will be able to assign other administrators if you so choose. So the reason for Amazon Business Prime, we understand that many of you were making or want to make purchases from Amazon. What the statewide Prime account will do is save money for the state by allowing Prime to be extended to all agencies with only one fee payment rather than each individual agency making their separate fee payments. It will also allow agencies to receive automatic free 2-day shipping. It will ensure tax-exempt purchasing. It will offer business-specific pricing, and it'll also increase Amazon account administration abilities. Additionally, creating a single state account in which we could set up groups for the individual agencies will allow you, as well as the purchasing division, the ability to monitor and track spend on Amazon purchases to ensure compliance with procurement law. So I do want to be clear, this is not a statewide contract, so I don't want it to be treated as such. It does not permit agencies to simply go out and purchase without the need for bids. This Amazon Prime agreement is simply a terms agreement. You'll be able to find it posted on our website if you click on the contracts link on the left-hand column of our main website, which is wvpurchasing.gov. And then from there, click on the terms agreement link, and it will be the last one listed. Purchasing rules still apply. That means if the spend will remain under $2,500 in a 12-month period, bids are not required. However, if spend with Amazon for the same or similar commodity or service will exceed this amount in aggregate in a 12-month period, then bids are required. So for verbal bids, you can use a screenshot from Amazon as one of the 3 bids that you obtain. And if you do use Amazon for any purchase in this spending threshold, just be sure that you properly document your file and keep an eye on your agency's aggregate spend so that you remain in compliance. Now, for many of you, you've already been able to successfully create your agency's new Amazon Business Prime account. If you still need assistance, please email me following this training. I know that some of you did have existing Amazon Business Prime accounts, and you were able to successfully deregister those accounts and place them on the state's account. If you have not yet done that, I'm happy to walk you through that process. Once we complete today's training, I will be requesting that each of you compile your agency's list of end users. So just because you're the administrator, you will have the opportunity to expand your account with those end users that will also be making purchases or are approved to make purchases for your agency. And their role will be considered requisitioners. Unfortunately, I will be out of the office beginning tomorrow through the end of next week. So I will be sending you guys a reminder to do this as soon as I return on August 3rd. And at this time, I will likely be requesting these lists be submitted to me no later than Friday, August 7th. So I know that's kind of a quick turnaround, but that gives you a couple of weeks from today. So go ahead and start compiling those lists if you know who your end users are going to be for your agency. And then on August 3rd, I will be sending you an email with a reminder to send those lists to me. I am going to request that you wait until I send that email, simply because I am going to be out of the office and I don't want any of those lists to get lost. So again, I'll be sending that email on August 3rd with a reminder to submit your end user list to me by August 7th. So once I compile the end user list for all agencies, We will then schedule an end users training, which is going to be similar to the one that we're doing for you guys today. So if you have any questions about anything that I just talked about, go ahead and type them into the chat box. Send me an email if you still need to work through getting your account set up or you're experiencing any issues with that. And with that said, I think we are ready to get started. So Kane introduced himself earlier, and then we also have Mark Atkins on today's call. Mark is a senior buyer with the purchasing division. He's also our statewide contract buyer. So any questions that you have, please go ahead and send them in the chat as Kane mentioned, and I am going to turn it over to Kane at this time.
That's a great introduction, Samantha. Thank you very much. And again, I'm working off of a virtual machine here, so it's just a little bit of an extra, a few extra steps for me to keep going here. And it actually disconnected there right prior to kickoff. So I went up a slide here to our table of contents. It looks, like a little bit more than it is. We'll get through the slides here in probably 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll switch over to a live demonstration, which is really useful to see how these things actually work. So let's go ahead and move down to shopping on Amazon Business. And here we're really focusing on what's different about a business account. We, in our presentation here, assume that either you may have used Amazon at home in the past, or you have a family member that has used it as as an individual consumer account. And so there are definitely things that are different with a business account. One of those is business pricing and quantity discounts. So right away, we offer a bunch of discounts up front, and I have a separate slide on that coming up. But one of those here in the top right-hand side of the screen, if you see quantity discounts available with the check mark there on the top right of the screen, and if you were to hit the drop down from quantity 1, you would see an increase in quantity and a decrease in price as you purchase more of that particular item. And I'll show you what that looks like in the live demonstration as well. We also have Business Prime shipping enabled, so complimentary 2-day shipping on eligible items. And we always recommend that when you're talking to your end users and they're using Amazon Business, they always select the Prime filter. And that gets you to those Prime eligible items. And again, of course, I'll show you what that looks like as well. Quick call out here for this PDF slide deck that Samantha will probably distribute here after, or maybe she already has, to everybody in the meeting and everybody who couldn't attend today. It does have hyperlinks, so you can see where it says click to learn more under Business Prime shipping. Those are actually hyperlinks into the account, so it'll take you to more information. So it's a good leave behind or future reference document. In terms of buying policies, we do have some features that allow us to customize the account. And that's been done here already in West Virginia's account. No need to take that any further as an administrator. And what we've done is we have blocked any third-party sellers in Amazon Business here that don't offer tax exemption. So if they're going to charge you tax, you can't buy an item from that seller. And we've also blocked the General Services Administration System for Rewards Management debarred sellers or debarred vendors. So any seller that's been vendor that's been debarred, you also can't buy items from them. So that's already set up for you. No need to take any further action there. But again, different than you'd see in an individual consumer account. We do have business-only selection here in Amazon Business, and we actually have hundreds of thousands, if not nearly 1 million more items available in business accounts than we do in individual consumer accounts that you might have seen in the past or used in the past. And that's because the vast majority of items in Amazon writ large are sold by third-party vendors or third-party sellers, not by Amazon. And in business accounts, we have business-only sellers. They only sell to other business organizations or government organizations. They're held to a much higher standard than a seller who would sell to business and a consumer, individual consumer. They're held to less than 1% defect rate in terms of product quality and less than 1% defect rate in timeliness of delivery. So anyways, business-only sellers, B2B sellers here in Amazon Business, not available in the individual consumer account. And then great news here at the bottom of this slide, business analytics. In a business account, for every single purchase in your organization, the part of the account that you're an administrator for, every purchase, you can see over 60 data points for every purchase. And I'll show you what that looks like in the live demo as well. There we go. I mentioned that we had a slide here on discounts. So we talked about business pricing. You see in the top right, strike through, and then a business price highlighting their $3 and the percent that you're saving, as well as the dollar amount. Mentioned quantity discounts. I'll show that to you in the live demo. We also have progressive discounts, which is a great feature that runs in the background at the account level. And so we look at the trailing 12-month or previous 12-month order history at the account level. And if in the account, everybody here in the state of West Virginia is purchasing a high volume of a particular item, pick something like maybe a cleaning supply, let's say, of a particular SKU number, we automatically unlock discounts for that item as the purchase volume increases. So that happens in the background. But if you do see it, you can see here the third box on the right side where it says progressive discounts. That's what's going on in the background. And then, of course, we have the same recurring delivery feature as well as at the individual consumer account. This is just a quick slide to show you, and you'll see it in the live demo, that what we're surfacing here is all about business. We're not trying to find the latest, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas gifts, Thanksgiving items. Those are all for the consumer accounts. Here we're focused exclusively on business. We always recommend the filters, definitely business seller, to raise the bar on those third-party sellers that you're looking at in the account. And we always recommend the prime filter to save West Virginia money on shipping. Otherwise, the other filters and the interface, if you used Amazon in the past, very similar in terms of the browsing experience to what you and your end users already know. We have a note here in the middle, the second bullet. Just like Samantha said up front, with Amazon Business, you still have to comply with West Virginia purchasing law and rules. So while you can find everything here at the top, Amazon is the everything store. There's a lot of stuff available. At the end of the day, those purchasing law and rules still apply with the business account. All right, a quick note here on business prime shipping. The big takeaway here I want to highlight is at the bottom of this slide. So what's not included? We're not including individual benefits, right? So Amazon Fresh, Pantry, video, or music. For our government customers, that is typically a benefit because we're not using public dollars for individual benefit. And that typically helps with compliance to official policy. So quick highlight there. You may have some questions from end users about that. So just a note there. Okay, reorder and shopping lists. Similar feature to what we have, in an individual consumer account. Highlight here at the top, if you do set up a recurring order or you make up a shopping list to share, you might do that at a particular time and you have checked and made sure that's not on a mandatory contract. But then if it's a reorder list, it may, that particular item may become available on a mandatory contract. And so the call out here is just to, if you do set that up, make sure to check back every once in a while. And also if you're going to create a list, definitely check, if you're going to create and share a list, make sure you check the mandatory contract sources first before you do that. So, and again, you guys are all administrators. Everybody here on the call is an administrator. So these are things to probably, reinforce with your end users in the future over time. One thing that's different about these lists is that, you can create the list just like you might at home. You can update the quantity. This example on the screen is break room supplies. And you have a button here at the top that just simply add all to cart and check out really quickly. That's nice. Helps with standardization. And then in terms of sharing the list with your coworkers, all you have to do is just enter 3 letters of anybody's name or email address that's in the account, and then you can easily share the list with them. They'll get an email, and then they can click on lists that were shared with you, and they'll have access to that list as well. Okay, diving into what's more relevant for administrators. So across the top of the screen here, we have the gateway, we call it. This is what it looks like right when you log in. You'll know that you're in a business account because here in the upper left-hand corner where it says business, that's different than you'd see if you were in an individual consumer account. And in the case here with the state of West Virginia, you will actually see Business Prime because Business Prime is enabled for the state of West Virginia. This is a demo account screenshot, and it didn't have Business Prime enabled, so instead we just see business in the upper left-hand corner. This is a demo account called Ravina Gardens Restaurant. So the owner was Ravina, and so she is logged in right now. So it says Hello Ravina on the right side in that light blue highlighted rectangle. And it's easy to switch back and forth between accounts. You can see the second hyperlink from the bottom says switch accounts. So you can easily switch back and forth. But again, if you're in a business account, it's going to say business in the upper left-hand corner and Business Prime for the state of West Virginia. This slide's somewhat useful because it does highlight what the different hyperlinks do. So your account is where you go to change your password, your name, even your email address if you had to for some reason. Business settings is the control panel. We're going to spend the majority of our remaining slides and time on business settings because as an administrator, that's where you'll go to update any settings that you have control over. Your orders is a micro-tactical view. You, as an administrator, you can see any order you placed, when it's inbound, all the tracking scans. That's where you go to surface a problem with one of the orders you placed. And that's, as an administrator, you can hit a drop-down arrow and see all of the orders for your department or your group that you're an administrator for. So anyone that's making an order that's a buyer, in your group, you can see all of their orders too, and when their orders are expected to arrive. Side note: if the individual who placed the order is the person who has to surface a problem with it or initiate a return, you can't do that on behalf of your end users. Let's see. We can see here on the middle of the screen it says approve orders. Order approvals are not enabled right now, so we can table that for now. And let's see, manage suppliers, kind of the same thing. We do have the ability to save suppliers and surface those as preferred, but in conversation with Mark and Samantha, we both agreed that due to West Virginia policy, we all agreed that that is not a feature that we should be using right now. So we're not going to talk anymore about that. Business analytics, again, I'll show you that in the demo, and we have one more slide on it in this slide deck before the demo. And then recurring deliveries, self-explanatory there. Okay, diving into business settings. So if you logged in, hovered over your name, in this case, Ravina, and you clicked, we'll go back up here, and you clicked on business settings, right? So just, you don't have to click in your name. You just hover over it. The drop down will appear, click into business settings, and then this screen will pop up. So on the right-hand side, we see administrators, and you will be seeing administrators for your group within the account. People like Samantha and Mark, who are administrators at the very top of the account, they'll see administrators for their group. Their administrator rights, so to speak, cascade all the way down throughout the account. So they can make changes to any group, and they can see all the spend from within the account. If you are what we call a subgroup administrator, so you're not at the top, but maybe you're at an agency within West Virginia, then you're going to see the administrators for your group. You're going to be able to update all the settings for your group on the business settings page for your group when you log in and click on business settings. But you won't be able to make any changes to groups that are adjacent to you, and you won't be able, your admin privileges don't flow upward. They only go down to groups underneath you. So quick call out there. So we will talk about billing, shipping, and members here for the remainder of our time. So under billing and shipping, right now, everything is set up to default, which means we are using P cards or purchase cards for the payment method. and we are allowing end users to set their own delivery addresses. Those can be adjusted. Probably don't want to change the payment method because the only other option is a line of credit, which is something that probably shouldn't be used with the state of West Virginia. So purchase card only, don't adjust that. There's no line of credit enabled anyways, so you can't really change it there. But you can change the shipping default, and so I'll show you how to do that and then sort of what that means. So here's that slide about shipping. And so you do have the ability under shipping addresses to switch to shared addresses. The only difference there is that if you do that, you as the administrator are the one who has to enter any shipping address. And once you do that, then your end users can only select that shipping address or one of those shipping addresses you entered to have packages delivered. Sometimes that makes perfect sense if you are administering a group or you're at a location physically where you have like one address, one receiving dock, and that's where all packages should go. You know, on the other hand, I know today we're on and off from working from home typically, and so maybe keeping it set up to individual addresses is the way to go for now. The good news is with analytics, even if you allow end users to set their own shipping addresses, with analytics, you can very easily, with a couple mouse clicks, pull a report that surfaces every address that any item's been shipped to. So just know that even if you keep it set up to individual addresses, you'll be able to see where items are going. Okay, business order information is set up at the top level of the account. So this is something that Samantha, as the top level administrator, would need to set up. None of these are enabled right now, but they could be potentially useful in the future. Of course, you probably already thought through it. The issue is if one group needs or would like to use one of these available fields and most others don't, then you know, that's a discussion point, I suppose, that would need to take place internally at West Virginia. All these can be set up as optional, of course, but right now, none of those are enabled. Okay, delivery preferences. So we default to all federal holidays as observed. You can see here in the screenshot. And we also, on the right side, lower screenshot of the screen, we default open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. local time. This is all tied to the individual zip code. And we go with 3 p.m. because typically there can be some bleed over, right? If there's traffic, if there's snow, and you know, our promised time is a particular day at 3 p.m., there's a chance it could arrive, you know, at 4:30 due to unforeseen circumstances. So that's why we set it at 3 p.m., even though you're probably looking at it saying, well, we're open till 5. We recommend keeping it set up to 3 p.m. for your location or your group. And then, of course, we default closed on Saturday and Sunday as well. All these things can be adjusted. So as an administrator for your group, you can adjust those delivery hours like I just showed you. And of course, under billing and shipping, which is kind of what we're talking about now, you would just click on delivery preferences and then adjust those. Probably don't need to do that. So when we do a similar webinar as this one for your end users, which we will do in August, after we invite them to the account, it'll be a very similar tempo to what we've done here. So Samantha sent out invitations, help people get on board here, you know, starting this week on Tuesday. And then, of course, today on Thursday, we do this training session and, of course, record it. We'll do the same thing for the buyers. And so because most of the addresses are set up, well, they're all set up to default to individual address entry, we'll be talking to them about how to adjust those settings. And so that's what the next two slides are about. Caveat here, and of course, I'll tell the same caveat to your buyers or your end users, is that these instructions apply specifically to Amazon logistics deliveries. They don't apply to FedEx or UPS. And the reason for that is that we consider FedEx or UPS vendors and a separate business relationship with you know, you as the end user delivering to your location. So if you're having issues, for example, with FedEx or UPS, we always recommend that you reach out, for example, or I should say UPS or USPS. You should reach out to them directly and try to adjust your delivery settings with them. But the good news is for at least Amazon logistics deliveries, these settings do apply there. So here under your account on step 1, you would, again, log in. You would hover over your name, just like you're seeing here, and then you would click on your account. From there, here we are in step number 2. You would click under, sorry, my computer's kind of halfway connecting and reconnecting. You would click on your addresses. There we go. And then on step number 3, you can see all the addresses that you've previously entered. You can add an address, or you can add delivery instructions. So in this example, we're going to click on delivery instructions. And let's see, I think I advanced 2 there. And so in this case, step 4, you can adjust the days of the week that are closed. Again, now I would be speaking to individual end users, or you as administrators. Most of you have purchase cards. So if you have an address entered as well, this would apply to you with individual address entry. Step 5, you can tell us where to leave that item. Step 6, you can enter a security code or a callbox number. And then step 7, of course, you can do free text entry. These instructions all go into our systems. And if there's any text entry, any delivery location, that all gets sent to the person who's actually out delivering packages. If for your group at some point you switch to shared addresses, and now you as an administrator are the one who's entering shipping addresses, it's fairly similar in the sense that you go to business settings for your group. Now under billing and shipping, you click on addresses, and here are all the addresses that you've entered. Right, you can see a list here. It would go off the screen. And then for each one of these, you can do the drop down under actions and then edit delivery instructions. And then from there, the steps are exactly the same. So if you do switch to shared addresses, you've got the same capability to adjust the settings. Okay, so moving on from billing and shipping down to members, Samantha mentioned up front that by the 7th of August, she will be asking for a list of all the people that you want to be added to the account to be delivered to her. That information should include their first name, last name, email address. And of course, Samantha should know, based on who's sending her the information, what group or agency they belong in. Samantha and I will work together. I'll create an upload spreadsheet for her. She'll upload that spreadsheet, and then invitations will go out from business@amazon.com, just like they did to you. But of course, they'll be being sent to your end users, and so they'll be invited. Then as they register, you can track registration by going to business settings, clicking into people, and then seeing how many people have registered so far. Looking at people who haven't registered yet, but yet have received the invitation, you can click into invitations here, and then you'll be able to see all pending invitations. Another nice feature, if you click into people, you can see here the lower right screenshot. You can download a list of people that shows you everybody in the account and everybody who has a pending invitation and when that invitation expires, which we'll talk about here in a slide or two. In terms of roles and permissions, bottom line here, lots of words on the slide. I'm not going to read through every one of them. But at the end of the day, if you are an administrator, like everybody on this call is, you have the ability to adjust settings for your group. And you've got visibility into all of the spend. Requisitioners, on the other hand, they can't change any settings for a group. They do have access to business analytics, just like you do, same display. The only difference is they can only see analytics for their own purchases, not for anybody else's like you can. Okay, so most of you have probably seen this, when you receive your invitation to join the account from business@amazon.com, you'll get an invitation that looks like this with a button to click there that says set up your account. And this invitation is triggered right when Samantha uploads the upload spreadsheet. One change that I actually just noticed it myself because one of these is a screenshot and the other one is a free text entry on the right side bullet. Our invitations used to expire at 21 days. Now would they expire after 90 days? And we changed that because we find that with people out of the office, sometimes we have customers who, have a lot of people in the field working out of the office, and then they come back and check in, take care of administrative items. It made a lot more sense for us, based on customer feedback, that's not a decision we made by ourselves, to change the invitation time from 21 to 90 days. So that's why it's slightly different here. You can see 21 days over here, 90 days. 90 days is the correct one, and I will take that for action to get this slide updated. Okay, so new to Amazon. What we mean by that is if one of you or one of your end users has never used Amazon before, never touched Amazon with their work email address, then they just enter their full name and choose their password. And once they do that, they're ready to start shopping. On the other hand, we typically have a certain percent of people who are invited to these business accounts who have used or touched Amazon in the past with their work email address. In that case, here in scenario 2, we offer them the opportunity to just transfer that existing order history over to the official account. And we do say very clearly that if you do that, then you as administrators are going to be able to see all that purchase history. We tell people who are invited that also at the same time, if you in that previously existing account made any purchases that were for personal reasons that shouldn't surface in official analytics, then they can enter a separate email address, personal email address, set a password for that, essentially going to be a new account, and transfer that order history over to their new personal account. And that way they start fresh with the state of West Virginia account. They have no purchase history in there. So that's how we take care of any privacy issues that come along with having a previously existing account. So Samantha and Mark and I are going to help you with the upfront listing to get people invited in bulk to the official account and trained up in a group here in the official account with a spreadsheet upload that I mentioned earlier. So we'll help with the initial invitations and training. In the future, as an administrator, when somebody joins your group and they have a purchase card, you'll probably need to go in and add them on a one-by-one basis. So the first thing you want to do there is make sure that you're going to the correct group. Most of you probably have one group that you're administering. Sometimes you might have one group and then another group or two underneath you. So if that's the case, just make sure you're in the correct group. Go in there to business settings, click on add people here, and then click add people where it's circled at the top right. You can paste or type an email address in there and then check the requisitioner box and then click add. As soon as you click add, an invitation will go out to them from business@amazon.com. And this is just, adding multiple users. Shouldn't need to do this necessarily because Samantha and I are helping you do that up front. Okay, and we can skip that slide for now. And then removing a user, we do recommend that if you're going to remove a user, you actually transfer them to the non-purchasing user group. That's a group that we have set up. So it's inactive purchase card holders. Rather than remove them completely from the business with, you can see the remove from business button there. The reason we don't recommend using the remove from business button is right now, if you use that button, that account will be converted from a business account to an individual consumer account. So they could still, whoever you're removing could still gain access to Amazon with their official email address, because that account would essentially still exist. So we've gone ahead and created an inactive purchasing group, inactive purchase card holders, and we've disabled purchasing in that group. So what you'd want to do there is under actions, you can see on the lower right side here, you would click add to another group, type in enact, and then the inactive purchasing group will pop up, move the user to that group when they're no longer active, and then just remove them from your group. So that's a slight change there, but that's what we recommend to do. All right, checking out with tax exemption. So another piece of good news with the business account here is that tax exemption is enabled, and you don't have to do anything else. Everybody who is in the account can access tax exemption, and most of our third-party sellers, you can see on the screen here, has access to Amazon business tax exemption. If, on the other hand, people do surface an item where tax exemption is not offered, then you can't actually make a purchase because, like I mentioned earlier, that add to cart button will be ghosted out due to the buying policy that we enabled. All right, I also mentioned tax and debarment policy. So debarment policies are enabled here. US GSA, SAM, debarred vendors are blocked in the account. So that add to cart button will be ghosted out there as well. All right, one slide on business analytics, getting towards the bottom of these slides. This is just a screenshot from business analytics. You'll see this again in the live demo. I always recommend that you start by clicking on orders when you access analytics. And the reason for that is that's the way to get the 60+ data points for every order. That's the most amount of information you can surface at one time. And I'll show you how to filter that and create custom reports here as we go. If, for example, you click on refunds, you can think of that as like a pre-filtered report. So in that case, you're only looking at the payment product and status of an individual refund on a particular line. So we'll cover that a little bit more in the live demo. And then for reporting and reconciliation, another great feature of Amazon Business is accessing business analytics. You and your end users will have access to this payment reference ID number. This makes it really easy to do a purchase card bank report reconciliation on your monthly statement because for every, this payment reference ID should match directly on your purchase card statement. Amazon can be somewhat challenging sometimes, especially in a consumer account when you don't have access to this number, because if you order 5 items, those items might ship from 3 different locations, and Amazon places a charge on your purchase card every time an item ships, not when an order is placed. So you can check out with 5 items and get 3 separate charges. The good news is this payment reference ID lets you tie that all together for reconciliation purposes. All right, if business analytics is a macro view, your orders is a micro view. If you've used Amazon in the past, same functionality applies. As an administrator, the difference here is that you can see on the oval circle under your orders, you can use that drop-down to surface orders placed for everybody in your organization rather than just you as an administrator. End users don't have that capability, so when they log in, they're not going to see that drop-down arrow. They're only going to see their own orders. Okay, business customer support, very easy to contact customer support within a business account. What you and your end users can do, scroll down to the bottom of any page, click on Contact Us, and because of social distancing regulations, trying to keep everybody safe, for a while our phone lines were completely down and we only had access via chat to customer support. The good news is now phone lines are coming back up, and so while we still start with a chat functionality, if you don't like that, you'll see a hyperlink, and I'll show it to you in the live demo, where we can call you. And so once you tell us what the issue is, at the bottom of the screen, the phone icon will pop up, and you can enter a phone number. If you click Call Me, you'll get a call within about 5 seconds at that phone number, and then you can talk to customer support live. All right, another hyperlink to customer support there. If you shouldn't need to use this because we've blocked all the non-tax exempt sellers, but if you do have any tax questions or any of the end users do, then that's the email address to use. As an admin, you can help your end users out there, or surface that email address to them if they have a question. And then Jen Kelleher, work with Jennifer all the time. She is Mark and Samantha's sort of longer term point of contact. And I'll be engaged here with West Virginia for throughout the month of August, and then when our project comes to a close, if Mark or Samantha have any questions from you, they'll reach out to Jennifer for assistance. And then typically if Jennifer can't answer that question, whatever that would be, she'll ask me or a member of my team. All right, last slide. All of these are hyperlinks, great resource for you. If you have this slide deck, you want to click into these in the future. We surface all kinds of different items here. We can just start with, we'll just click on feature release notes. Since we're switching over to our live demo, we'll go ahead and continue with the browser. So these are feature release notes. You can, see here, you can surface, filter addresses, approvals, bulk ordering. You can select the month, and then of course down here we have a limited amount of time going back a couple years, 2019, 1 year ago. And the reason for that is Amazon Business is really only about 4 years old or so. So kind of new, and you can see we're getting our business processes in place by now, surfacing release notes going back at least a year. So if you do have questions that can't be answered by the help feature, which is also very helpful, just click on help within an account. You can also click on the Resource Center tab or save it in your browser for future access. So here we are in a demo account. This is my demo account here, and I just went and clicked in the upper upper left-hand corner. This is a place where you can go to quickly get back to the top level from anywhere in the account. If you want to go back to the gateway, just click on Business Prime for the state of West Virginia in the upper left-hand corner. So again, a much simpler, display than what you might experience in the past with an individual consumer account if you have one of those. Here I am, just hovered over my name. You can see the drop down. If this was a individual consumer account, the whole screen would turn white. There's lots of options there. This is a much more streamlined display. And as an administrator, I can see all these different options that I have here as an admin on this account. So that's the menu. Again, just hover over your name. We call this here in the middle the business notification panel. And these are all hyperlinks to business analytics. And there's only one field displayed here, the waiting delivery, and 0 orders. Because this is a demo account, I don't have a lot of purchase history in this account, and that's why most of these are empty. You would normally see awaiting deliveries and the number of orders. This would be for your entire organization that you're administering, so not just your orders, but everybody that has placed orders in your group. You would also see next to awaiting deliveries, you would see current month spend, so the amount that your organization is spending in the account for the current month. Of course, that'll reset every 30 days. The next hyperlink that you would see there is the top spend category. So we surface the #1 category for your group in terms of spend. And each one of these is actually a hyperlink. So if I were to click on your orders, or sorry, 0 orders in this case, I would be taken into analytics, and then a custom report would be automatically generated for me. So that's the business notification panel there. If I got a bit of a delay in my virtual machine here, so trying to match my words with my screen. So if I scroll down here, you can see here all the departments, again, just focusing on business items, right? So books, safety, lab and science, tools and construction and so on. Again, not every one of these, should be used by state of West Virginia. If you have a mandatory contract for office supplies, then of course you should be purchasing office supplies from that mandatory contract. Okay, so with that as a quick introduction here, just show you what it looks like to go to business settings. Just hover over my name, click into business settings, and that same display will pop up as we saw before. I can see all the administrators for my particular group. I can see where I would want to go to change into shared settings, Right now, payment methods and addresses are both ghosted out because we're defaulted to individual payment method and individual address entry. Moving down here to members. So let's see if I click on, and you can do this as well. So in your group, you can click on people, and this will show you everybody who has currently registered in your account. You can click download list of people, and that will get you a nice list of everybody who's registered in the account. It will in Excel spreadsheet format, and it will also show you any pending invitations as well on that one spreadsheet. Dropping down here, this is where you want to go to move an individual to a different group or remove them from a current group, like we mentioned before. So I'm going to go, let's see, show you another couple of shortcuts. Here, there's a search bar available in business settings. If you enter anyone's name in your group or their email address, options will pop up. So I know that I've got a couple different people named Toby in this demo account, and sure enough, type TOB, and I see both of them. If I want to access their profile, all I have to do is click here, and then I'll go right to their profile. Going back to the top of business settings, very easy, just by clicking on the business name. This would say state of West Virginia in your case. And then these three drop downs here are also shortcuts, so to different features. So I'm going to go take a shortcut here into people, which will actually take us back exactly to where we were before. And if I want to go back to business settings top level, then I'm just going to go ahead and click on my business name, which should be state of West Virginia in your case, and I'll go right back to the top of business settings. So that's people. If you want to see from within the account without having to download a spreadsheet, any pending invitations, all you have to do is click on invitations, and we see here, I don't have any pending invitations for this particular group, but if you did want to add people potentially after our launch is complete, maybe it's September, October, end of the year, all you have to do is go to your group or go to the correct group that you're trying to add people to. You can paste or type that email address in here, default to requisitioner, and when as soon as you click add, that person receives an invitation to join your group, and that invitation comes from business@amazon.com. Best practice, probably a good idea to reach out to them in advance and just let them know that that invite's coming and that it's not spam. All right. Back to business settings. Members, groups, buying policies, nothing to do there for you. We've already set that up ahead of time. Again, nothing to do here as well under certifications. Tax exemption is already enabled. We do have the ability for medical professionals to enter a medical license and apply that to a particular group, and then they can purchase Class 2 medical supplies if that's a requirement for you. And then system integrations, you can ignore that as well. That's for e-procurement. System integration, and state of West Virginia is going direct access for now. Okay, so that covers business settings. Let's take a look at the search and browse capabilities here. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for work gloves in all departments. And so here we see our initial results. Again, to refine your search results, we tell this to everybody who uses Amazon Business with Business Prime enabled. You want to click Business Prime, and then you want to click Business Seller down here. And I will do that here in just a second. As we scroll down, you can also refine, you can see here, customer review, brand, colors, material in this case here. And then we also have, national level, small and diverse business certifications as well. You can filter by those. But for now, let's go back up here and click on the Prime filter to make sure we're saving our organization as much money and shipping fees as we can. And then we want to raise the bar on those third-party sellers by clicking Business Seller. Now we're set up to actually take a look at our results. So we can see here, $13.75. Looks like we have a business price because we have a strike through there, $22.99. We're getting a pretty big discount there. But we can get all the way down to $12.33 with quantity discounts. We see that. We can see Prime delivery date there, surfacing. Looks like most of these have quantity discounts available. And let's see here. We'll just go ahead and pick the first one, since it looks like this one has quantity discounts. A couple of these other ones we see down here, looks like they potentially don't have quantity discounts available. Yeah, most of these do. But you'll see with your search results, some of these will not have a quantity discount. But I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one, mainly because it's just first, and just show you the detail page. So first thing you want to do, of course, is adjust the size. We can see here the arrival date. Let's see the quantity. Now you can see here, like I mentioned in the slides, we see an increase in quantity and then a decreasing price as we go if we want to change that. Looks like this one is, you can see here, shipped from and sold by Amazon. So this is an Amazon sold item. But on the other hand, we do see that there's other sellers available down here, Parker's Home Store, eTool Guy, and so on. So I'm going to click into this one here, new and used, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about what's going on the back end that you don't always see. And so for right now, quantity one winning the buy box is, looks like Amazon Warehouse is winning. Amazon.com is in second place, and then we have PNWB Office Products in third place with a pretty significant difference in price. So let's see what happens if we just change our quantity to 20. And okay, so $12.68 a piece at 20. Looks like we've got some used items that are winning. But you can also see here that for new items, PNWB Office Products is now really in first place there, and $259. In second place now is Amazon.com, $275. So, you know, and we've got a quantity discount applied here. And we can hover over that, and we can see what that quantity discount is for this particular seller. So we don't always see that, but that's something that, you know, is going on in the background. You know, the internal competition that's taking place there. So, all right. So I have already added a couple of items to my cart. So I'm going to go ahead and view that cart, and I'm going to go ahead and just delete this one for now and stick with these gloves. And we'll just go ahead and proceed to checkout. And I'll just show you real quick what that looks like. So if, of course, you let your account sit for any length of time, you'll need to be re-authenticated, which is what happened here. So no need to enter this business order information. This is a demo account, so this is our default setting. You won't see that in State of West Virginia's account. So you just click, you won't even see that screen there. And so here's the delivery address I had set up before. I'm going to go ahead and just select one of these. I entered those myself, just like you and your end users would do. Since you've got Business Prime enabled, you should always select Business Prime, or the shipping speed should be complimentary 2-day shipping, so $0 shipping would surface for you. I've entered these different payment methods in the past as well, so I'm just going to pick one of those, and here I am in my final screen for checkout. Always recommend, if you want to save some time, in other words, your shipping address, payment information not going to change, just check this box here to save some time. And even if you do that, you can still change any one of your, address, your payment method, and your billing address all on the final screen. When you're actually checking out, of course, you want to take a look at, what you're ordering, the quantity you're ordering, and making sure that there's no tax to be collected here in the state of West Virginia, because we've got the, tax exemption enabled, and then we've blocked any third-party seller that isn't going to offer that tax exemption. So normally I would click on place your order, and that order would be on the way, but I'm not going to do that now because this is a demo account. So instead, I'm going to go to the bottom and click on back to the home page. And so we're about 60 minutes in, and I'm just going to go cover our last few items, which are customer support and analytics, and then your orders. So customer support, like I mentioned, in a business account, if you scroll to the bottom of any page, you'll see this Contact Us button. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see here we do default to chat, and if you don't want to use that, you can click on this We Can Call You, and you'll see the same screenshot as you did before. If you have an administrator, sort of an administration related question, I would click on this non-order related button here. If I did have any order history, you would see all of your orders across this middle part of the screen. You could click on any order, and then you would be able to surface any problem with that order. So it's another way to surface returns or issues with orders in addition to going to your orders. You can click on Contact Us here. But anyway, so I clicked on non-order related, and then you can use the drop-down to try to help our customer support team understand what it is that you want to talk about before you call them. So if I finished drilling down here with the menus, a couple more questions, you can enter a phone number and then receive a call there. All right, so over here, we're just hovering over my name again, just trying to get to Business Analytics. And I think I've got a small delay here. There we go. All right, so click into Business Analytics, and now you'll see the same screen shot that we saw before. One addition, we've actually added pre-filtering for shipment information here, so that's another pre-filtered report that we have available now. But here, we'll go ahead and just click on Orders, and we can see that I don't have any order history here, and that's because the time period is off. So the first thing you want to do when you access Business Analytics is adjust the time period. And so for this demonstration, I'm just going to pick the last 12 months because, again, I just don't have a lot of purchase history in here. Order status column, we can see canceled, 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 closed. Closed means that the order was actually placed and fulfilled and has gone all the way through the process. So we've got one order displaying on the screen here as closed and fulfilled. So first thing I did over here is I clicked on filter. You can filter for a particular user if you're trying to figure out if an individual, take a little bit deeper dive into their spend. All you have to do is click account user equals, and then just type up to 3 letters of that person's name, and you'll see the results here. And of course, you can just click into that result if you want to filter for that particular item. So that's one way to adjust your report very quickly. Another way is by reducing the amount of the information in the report. So since State of West Virginia is not using pay by invoice, there's really no need to pull a report with any invoice information on it. So you can just automatically deselect all the invoice info in a report just by clicking that one box. On the other hand, you may want to adjust the product information that you're surfacing in a report. And of course here, you can very simply just, reduce, rows simply by deselecting the boxes. And then of course the columns across the top will disappear there. Once you're done selecting the information that you want to display in a report, all you have to do is click submit here, and that report will reload. The good news is it's really easy to pull a report and save it simply by typing a name for your report in here after you've customized it, and then clicking Save as New Report. So I'm not going to do that right now because I've already saved a few. So let's just pretend that we're going into analytics. We know the report we want because we've saved it in the past. All you have to do here is next to this report drop down, you can just click on this button here. Oh, looks like my computer disconnected here for a second. I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Samantha, I haven't had a chance to check for any questions up to this point because I'm operating off of one screen. Were there any questions that have surfaced so far that we should address?
I have not seen any questions come through.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry, Kane. I was emailing back and forth with somebody that asked about the header of their screen once they logged into Amazon Business Prime. It actually says try Business Prime, and I noticed when I log into my account as well, it says that. Does that indicate that we're not in a Business Prime account, or?
It does, Samantha, and in the upper left-hand corner, if it says Business Prime, then Business Prime is enabled. If it looks like the screen here, it just says Business, then Business Prime is not enabled.
Okay, in the upper left hand.
Yeah, upper
so
left
if it
hand
says
corner.
business,
Yep.
that is okay.
So it should say with Business Prime, it says Business Prime in the upper left hand corner.
Okay, mine does not say Business Prime. Mine only says business. That might be a conversation outside of the webinar.
Yeah, we can sync up after the webinar today and just make sure we've got everything set up the way we want it. Or the way we expect it, I should say. Okay, so looks like I'm reconnected here. To pull a report, all you have to do is click on reports and then just go down here to where it says your reports. And then you can see all the reports that you've saved. In this case, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to check this, click the spot check trailing 12-month report. I like this one because I've reduced the amount of information coming across the top. My scroll bar is, much less as I move over. I also like it because I can see the person's name, their email address, the amount they spent on a particular item, and then I can even, just hover over these different, hyperlinks, and I can see with a visual picture what it is that they purchased. If I want to take a much deeper dive, you can actually copy this Amazon supplier identification number, otherwise known, as a SKU in other places. You can copy that and then maybe open up a new tab and just paste it here into the search window, and you can go right into the detail page from there. For any report that you have loaded, like I've loaded this one from my saved reports, if I click download CSV, that is going to get me an Excel spreadsheet of the the report that I have pulled up. So very easy to get everything that you're seeing into an Excel format, so you can use your best Excel skills to slice and dice those. Also, very easy to get invoice and order report information. If you click on Get Order Documents here, all you have to do is just click a particular box, and then if you click Download from Selected Orders, you'll get a PDF format that you can save or print out locally. All right, so that's sort of the macro view, 60 different data points for every single order in your organization. And so let's see, for now, we'll go over here to our micro view or micro tactical view, and we'll just click on your orders. And what we'll see here is that, well, I'm disconnected again, so I'll just talk through it for a second. What you'll see here, at least in my screen, is that I won't show any order history. So it'll default to the previous 12 months, but I can go ahead and adjust it for the past 4 years. So I would go ahead and just change that to 2019, and then I'll see at least one order in there that I can access and look at. And again, you can switch there with the drop-down caret between your orders or anyone else's orders in your organization. Samantha, while I'm waiting to reconnect here, it looks like somebody did ask a question. Can you help us field that one? I guess I'm reconnected, but is that something that we could address? It might have been sent to me privately here.
I was going to say, I'm not seeing it on my end.
Okay, I'll just address it real quick after I get done with this, and we'll go ahead and switch over to fielding questions. So you can see here, past 6 months, 2020, 2019, and so like I mentioned, I'll switch to 2019, and I can see here, just like I saw in analytics, that one order that was fulfilled, I'm seeing the same item here. I don't see the ability to return it because that 30-day return window has now passed, and I can't track it because, of course, it's already been delivered. But that being said, that 30-day return window has been expanded now just due to the current conditions. So we get a little bit more time to return items. Let's see. If you want to see not just your orders, but all orders placed by your organization, you would just select a different option here. So that's how you change between your orders and all the orders placed in your group as an admin. Another place to get that PDF format in terms of order history, you can click on printable order summary, and then at least the way mine is set up here, if I click on print this page for my records, I've got mine set up to print to PDF. And that's how I would save this particular order. And then, of course, you can see here there's the order details. So that's another way to get order history there, and a printable history at that. All right, so that is coming close to the end of my official comments. Let me see here if I can click into some of our questions, Samantha, and read some of these. There's a question here about how do I print a copy of these slides? Will these be emailed to us? Samantha has a draft version. Samantha, I noticed it'd probably be a good idea to adjust the table of contents a little bit. So if you're open to it, Samantha, I can adjust that after the meeting today and then send those to you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, certainly that sounds good. I will definitely be sending a follow-up email, and we'll include a copy of the PowerPoint as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and we should also, Samantha, you'll also have the ability to send a link to the recording as well for people to view offline.
Perfect.
All right. Let's see. Looks like I'm temporarily disconnected. I'll surface the rest of these as soon as I get reconnected here. Any other comments from you or Mark at this point? Samantha, I tried to cover most of the policy guidance there as we went through the presentation. There we go.
I do not have anything to add. I will send the PowerPoint as we mentioned with a copy of the PowerPoint as well as a link to the recording. I did mention that at least on my account and on a couple of the administrators, we're only seeing the icon for business. So that is something that we will look into after we get off today's webinar. Mark, do you have anything to add?
No, I believe everything was covered quite well.
All right, thank you guys. And just looking at the rest of the questions, they do revolve around the Business Prime question, because I was talking about Business Prime and then people are looking at the account saying, I don't see Business Prime in the upper left-hand corner. So we'll sync up on that after the call, like Samantha mentioned, and get that straightened out. There is a question about will Amazon Business start sending a packing slip with their orders so we can have receiver report? So the answer to that is no, unfortunately. We don't always send a packing slip, and we're slowly deprecating that just for environmental concerns. And where we point people to is, just like I showed you here under your orders, on the screen actually you can print this page out, which is the equivalent of a packing slip. Or as an admin, you can always go into Business Analytics and then click that box for Get Order Documents, and you'll get the same packing slip as well. So as an admin, you can do it from your orders or Business Analytics, and then as an end user, you can get packing slip information from your orders and analytics as well. So same thing. All right. Well, that concludes our official comments here and remarks. Again, thank you guys. Sorry, everybody, for joining today. And I apologize for the little bit of back and forth I had here with my computer connecting and disconnecting, but I think we successfully got through it. Some great questions were asked, and really looking forward to inviting end users and getting them trained up here in August.